A very good morning and welcome to the Early Edge. A lot going on in sports today. I've got the U.S. Open right here. Looking at that, looking at some first round leaders stuff and some other bets that I've got on the table, and I'm sure you do as well. This show is always brought to you by BetMGM, the sports book born in Vegas. B Germ, KC3, Richard Pierre, Mark Martin is in the chat. Thanks for being in here. Hit the like button. Let's see about the recap screen. Listen, before I tell you what the record is, I got to say, our home run plays, courtesy of SportsLine, keep coming through. And during our MLB live stream yesterday, we had Ellie De La Cruz go the yard at, I believe, plus 600, plus 550, wherever you got it. Nonetheless, we go 3 and 4 here. Our basketball plays come in. Chet Holmgren over 14.5 points, minus 115. And Lou Dort over 7.5 points from Zach Simony came in within the first 6 or 7 minutes of the game. Unbelievable stuff there, but we lose 2 out of 3 SportsLine picks. And Calvin Wetzel loses his total play. We go 3 and 4. Let's march on. We are covering it all today. We've got PGA. We're going to bring in the stars of the show right now. We got PGA. We've got MLB. We've got, let's see, we do have to get some NBA reaction as well, but we've got WNBA, baseball, NHL, you name it. Let's see. Who do I go to first here? Mike, your reaction from the Indiana Pacers yesterday. I don't think a ton of people were surprised by that outcome, but the outright win certainly, not expected by the sports books.
Yeah, definitely not expected by the sports books. Indiana found a way to, score a lot of points again. So that's what they do. I still think Oklahoma City is the better team, despite where we stand in the series. But they definitely are in a very interesting spot, to say the least. Here, I'm happy for NBA fans. If you're not a fan of either one of these franchises, I think that you're getting a good series now at this point, which is something we didn't necessarily expect maybe. So for that, I think it's good news.
Mackenzie, I was on yesterday, I think, saying, or maybe the day before, maybe with you, that I thought this would be a 4-2, and I thought Indiana would get 1 out of 2 at home. Do you expect, because I know you're an OKC backer, do you expect OKC to win the next 3 games? Certainly they'll be favored in all 3.
I do. Like Mike said, this is great for basketball fans in general. It's just hard not to back them. I mean, I'll give it to the Pacers. It's not like they haven't earned it. I mean, this is an OKC team that's thrived off of winning the turnover battle, and outside of that first half of the first game, they're losing it. And quite frankly, they're having historically bad turnover games. So if Indiana can continue to do that, it's super impressive. A, and B, it might be enough to keep this, going longer, maybe a 7-game series. But yeah, I've been Halliburtoned. I'll say it. I was not expecting this at all.
Tom Casale, changing gears before we get to some picks. And Mike, you're going to kick us off, but it was Jen M in the chat that said, having Tom Casale on 2 days in a row, because of course you were on the MLB live stream yesterday, has her missing college basketball. So I should say this. We're Vernon Davis days away from NFL season. Tom, do you happen to know at least whereabout we are in terms of our first college basketball game or non-conference tournament in some, faraway island?
No, I'm still counting down football season too.
Yeah.
So but early November is when we'll get back to college basketball. That's always my favorite month of the year. You got so many good sports going at once. You got Thanksgiving. So listen, the way I do my math, counting down, the summer, June's already over. It's mid-June. We're done with that. So July will go quick. And then August, we have football. So we're not that far away.
It's true. We're I can see where you're going with that. By the way, if you have a favorite number 85, put it in the chat. July is always that month where that's the one that stretches a little bit longer because you're so close to football, but there's still not a lot going on in football. So we just have to get through July and then boom, it's right here. All right, let's get to some picks. Mike McClure, I got a PGA pick for today. There's a lot going on the course right now. I mean, my first round leaders, Adam Scott, at least in play, I believe at 2 under. My Siwoo Kim top Korean pick is looking good so far, only through 9 holes. He's 2 under as well. I've got the pick this afternoon, and you've got a pick relating to another guy going out this afternoon in one Scotty Scheffler.
Yes, I get to back Scotty Scheffler. Going to do it on Thursday. I do not have any action on Scotty for the full tournament, but the round score, I'm going to back Scotty to shoot even par or better. You can find this actually at plus money in a few spots, plus 110. Minus 110 is kind of the general consensus price point here. Just looking for a round of 70 or better. That 70 is the par number, so it's under 70 and a half. There's a couple reasons why I like it. Number one, when you look at this course setup, Thursday is kind of going to be the day for a lot of good scoring, and then it's going to get much more difficult throughout the weekend. But what I like here is the number of players that are under par right now on the course. We've got 14 players under par right now. Some of them to be expected, some not. But guys like Ludwig and Rory both playing extremely well. Bryson had played pretty well at times as well. So I personally think this is off by a full stroke. I think Scotty's baseline, considering the circumstances, considering everything we've seen, should be a -1 round. The thing is I think we all like Scotty. A lot of people think Scotty's going to win. Based off what we've seen with multiple players getting to 3 or 4 under on the front 9 here, if Scotty's going to win this golf tournament, he's going to need to be even par after day 1. If he is not, I think it's going to be a pretty big uphill battle for him. So just looking at how he's been elite in terms of the bogey avoidance and particularly the double bogey avoidance, I think it's gettable here. I think a good round from Scotty would be 4 or 5 under today. But I think his average baseline round here should be -1. I like it here at even par or better.
Yeah, one thing we know, you're right, Mike. Day 1's going to be the most gettable of the days. And I will say this, by the way, I'm brightening up because I have this TV right next to me. And anytime it's a white screen, I get like flush with light, which is kind of funny as I see myself on camera. But the afternoon today, the winds aren't going to pick up too much. Certainly the gusts, maybe a couple miles per hour more, but this is going to be a pretty flat day overall. I mean, I guess you could say the course is going to dry out a little bit because there's no rain today. But I like the play, and I like the fact that the conditions are very, very good right now. Okay, before we transition, Tom, to your MLB pick, George Kittle days away, says Richard Pierre. And then Steve Folkert's made a pretty big mistake here. He says Art Monk days away. And everybody knows Art Monk is number 81, not 85. Now, if you want to go to that era and the Washington team, Don Warren, backup tight end to Clint Didier, who was number 86, he was 85. So pretty big mistake there, Steve. I don't know if we can forgive you for that one as Farzad corrects you, and so does Gipper's picks. All right, Tom, let's switch gears. We want more 85s in the chat. We see Antonio Gates as well. That's a really good one. Tom, talk to me about Yankees Royals. And by the way, before you do, when we did the live stream, Tom, I think you left just a touch early. I can't remember if you caught this from Mike McClure. He said the Yankees are going to win tonight, and he didn't hedge his statement at all, and they absolutely smashed the Royals yesterday. It was 6-0 going into the 9th, I think. So, Mike, I think a lot of people profited off of that statement. But talk to me about runs in that game tonight.
Yeah, I had the Yankees last night as well. I thought there was some value with them at that number just based on who the Royals were pitching. Tonight, I'm going to the over. I think we got a good matchup. Seth Lugo, he's not the same pitcher he was last season. His velocity's down. His strikeout rate's down. The Yankees, 16 runs in the first 2 games of the series. I think the bats stay hot. Now, listen, I know you're not going to retire back in the Royals offense, but I think they have a good matchup tonight against Will Warren. His hard hit rate is at 50%, which is extremely high. The bats woke up a little bit in the 9th inning last night, so I hope that continues. But I see the pitching matchup as positive for both sides. Yankees 7-3 to the over the last 10. I think that continues. We get a few runs from the Royals, and we cash over 9 runs.
All right, we're taking the Yankees, Royals over 9. Mike, I have to ask you, because you were so exacting yesterday with the side, do you have a solid take on a side on this one, or is this one where there's just no value again on the side?
I will tell you in a few seconds. I don't have the number in my head fresh. It's golf day, Sia. When we get to a major championship, I've got quad box going on the TV at like 5:30 in the morning for golf. So it's
while you're looking at that, by the way, I do want to mention everybody. Mackenzie, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're hosting today at 1:00 the early edge, correct?
Oh yeah, round 2. I must have not screwed it up too bad last week because I've been invited back.
So, and
If
at
you can.
12 o'clock, Joe Musso will be hosting. It'll be me and Mike doing the early wedge, a special kind of mid-round early wedge episode, again, on CBS Sports Network. It's going to be me, Mike, Joe, and then I think Patrick McDonald from the course is going to show up earlier on in that show. So a lot of early wedge content on CBS Sports Network between 12 and 2 o'clock. Mike, did I buy you enough time?
You did. I do lean Tom's direction with the over as well. I would not touch the money line. I think it's pretty close. Slight. If I had to lean there, it would still be the Yankees just simply winning the game.
Mm-hmm.
Seth Lugo has been quite awful with his top two pitches. Y'all know I love the expected weighted on base average. A fastball 412. And then his curveball, which had historically been quite good. Last year, for context, on the curveball, 217 weighted on base average. The expected data was 237. Extremely good. This year, we are up to 348 and 93.5 miles per hour, the average exit velocity. He has no curveball anymore.
Wow.
So, yeah, he's going to have a rough time as the weather gets a little warmer.
Very, very interesting stuff. Any eyes on Tom or Mike on a Yankees team total, as well as, obviously leaning Tom to your over of 9? Is that a thought, or we're just looking at the over, Tom?
I did look at the Yankees team total. It was a little juiced.
Okay.
I think it was 145, 150 last night. So that's why I decided to go with the game total.
All right, Mike, any thoughts there?
Yeah, I would lean over on Yankees team total, whether you play it pregame or not. If not, generally I don't like to recommend this, but the Yankees are kind of an exception to the rule, particularly on the road. If they go scoreless in the first inning or first and second inning, that's when I would play it live at that point.
Speaking of team total overs, if you caught the MLB live stream, hopefully you cashed with me the Toronto team total over 3.5. I guess they got to 5-2 final in that one. BetMGM account holders will receive a golf odds boost token to use on U.S. Open bets. To use the odds boost, make a golf bet today and activate the token. If the bet wins, you get extra winnings. All right, there it is right there. Golf odds boost token. Let's get to a couple of SportsLine picks. And one of them implicates the NHL game tonight. And Mike, I have some follow-up for you on perhaps a first period under or over, because there are people asking. Tariq Skubal over 7.5 Ks at -132, courtesy of Amags. And the Florida Panthers, this is juice. Like, there's some juice in these, -148, courtesy of Matt Severance. Mike, real quick, take on this game at all, and take on a first period under, because somebody was asking in the chat.
Yeah, lean first period under anytime you get deeper in the series. Typically in these spots, officiating doesn't want to intervene. You see maybe one less power play than you might have in game 1 or 2 of the series. It's never comfortable fading goals when you're fading Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. However, I do lean under in the first period. Lean under for the game, lean to the Florida Panthers side. I think that while, again, it's difficult to fade McDavid and company, I think there's definitely a scenario where Florida could have been up 3-0 to start this series.
All right, fair enough. Let's get to some SportsLine home run model plays. And Mackenzie, there were people asking, because these have been so incredibly successful. I don't know if you have the updated units in terms of over the last 60 plus days or whatever. I guess it would be 30 plus days. But before we get there with you, these are the model plays. Top 3. Spencer Torkelson +410 says SportsLine. Real odds +475. Then Ben Rice +475 versus +525. And then the biggest one, the biggest difference maker, Carlos Correa +380 per SportsLine, but +575 says the sports books. Ken's update on what's going on with these home runs. And people were asking, outside of the early edge, where people can find these. And I don't know if there's an answer to that question. And for the record, if there isn't, come to the show, because they're here every day, by the way, everybody. But let us know if there's other places to find them too. That's helpful.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to put it in the chat. We just started this, SportsLine model crew, me, myself, and Jake. We now have our own live blog on the CBS betting page. So not on SportsLine. I'm going to drop the link in the chat, and then we can pin this link on the YouTube show as well for people who aren't watching live. But basically, it's going to have every day throughout the summer, we'll have our home run props. Jake will be putting out even some College World Series stuff. Steven's on top of our best values for the NBA Finals. All of our Game 4 picks are already up there. a lot of futures throughout the summer for NFL and college as well. But obviously, the making money right now parts, these home run props. I mean, I think we're up 41 units over the last 65 days. A 5-unit day yesterday with Ellie De La Cruz. Nick Kurtz didn't play, but still a strong day. Anyway, but yeah, I'm just the voice of the greater good when it comes to these home run plays. You guys know I don't follow the MLB too much, but when I see awesome names like Spencer Torkelson, I'm definitely going to talk about him. And also Dean Kremer, who is the pitcher, also sounds like a name from The Office. But basically, Torkelson is coming off this game, riding a 5-game hit streak with 2 runs over that span. So they're not all home runs, but clearly he's seeing the ball well. And then you look at, is it Kremer? Is that how you say it? I assume.
Dean Kramer.
Kramer.
Yeah.
Kramer would have been better. Dean Kramer hasn't allowed a home run in his last 4 starts, but he is allowing a ton of hits, 7.5 hits per game over the last 4 starts. So just 2 forces that are like almost close to this home run happening that I feel like make it worth it for him there.
All right. Good analysis there. She did drop the link if you all want to check that out. And I'm sure we'll be following up with that link as well as some people who might miss the show or who are listening to the podcast might be super interested in that. Mike McClure, I'm watching your guy Bryson, who's having a great round, but it looks like I'm sure you're watching, just missed a 3-footer. Your response?
I didn't see the 3-footer. I don't want to see the 3-foot miss. Everything. I'm having a great day so far. I've got, speaking of which, Ludwig should be like 5 under right now. He's on
fire.
Absolutely.
He just had one lip out.
But yeah, I've got a great little DFS lineup running with Ludwig and Bryson and my boy, Gary Woodland, 3 under, at 1%, 0.7% owned. I'm the only one in the contest essentially that has Woodland. So feeling good. Don't want to see Bryson missing 3-footers though.
We do a DFS show every single Monday at 7:00. It's me, Mike, and Rick Gaiman, and we're always delivering a few just really good kind of under the radar winners. Woodland probably shouldn't be under the radar, but he certainly was at a flat 6,000 on DraftKings. Really good stuff there. All right, we got to get to more golf. We got to get to a WNBA pick. We got to get to a couple of your questions. We're going to do it right after this message from our partners.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you. When you need your sports in a snap, find it on CBS Sports HQ, streaming free anywhere you are.
All right, we're back on the early edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. I'll go over my golf matchup real quick. I already have a pending one this afternoon. It was the Ryan Fox matchup. This one is another round 1 matchup that I think you can only find on DK under 3-ball matchups. I'm going with Cameron Young, who is a guy that I talked about on the early wedge a little bit as well. Minus 130 over Tom Hoge. This is a pretty simple case of me taking, I'm laying some juice here again, but this is a simple case of me taking the guy that profiles way better for this course and is doing things that Tom Hoge is doing, but just better. So like when we're talking about off the tee and we're talking about ball striking, Tom Hoge usually pretty good there, but certainly doesn't have the length and frankly doesn't have the accuracy off the tee either. Now, Cam Young, not super accurate necessarily, but I would say among the top half of the field from an accuracy standpoint. So if you're Tom Hoge, and you're not going to be long off the tee, and you're not going to be accurate, I'm going to go ahead with the guy that's been more accurate off the tee and certainly longer off the tee. Ball striking has been good, and frankly, the putter has been good for Cameron Young as well. So I just think Tom Hoge on this particular course is a little outmatched, and I got Cameron Young, like not only with the better course profile, but certainly coming in with a better recent form. So I'll lay the minus 130 in a round 1 matchup, again, under 3-ball matchups over Tom Hoge. All right, we move. WNBA. We missed our total yesterday. We got a rebound. What do we got, Mackenzie? We're looking at an over.
We are looking at an over. This game is tomorrow, no W today, so we might as well get a good head start here on the Sky headed to the Atlanta Dream. Now, the Sky are objectively the worst defense in the WNBA, playing a top 5 offense in the Dream. So obviously the spread looks enticing there. I rather go for the over, the full game over, maybe isolate the team total, but I landed on just the full game over here because I think it's a good play overall. The Sky had 5 straight overs before their last 2 games, which were 2 unders. I feel like they're due to regress back to their over ways, and both of these teams overall above 500 when it comes to overs on the season here. Now, these are two of the best rebounding teams in the league, both top 5 here. Atlanta Dream #1. So if you're looking at maybe an Angel Reese situation, this might be one of those games where you look at an under, maybe under on her rebounds because she's finally met her match here. But nonetheless, when I see that in the WNBA, I see offensive rebounds, offensive putbacks, more points. So that's why I like the over with both of these rebounding teams here. But again, even going back to last season, not too much has changed for these teams. And their most previous 4 games of last season, 3 of them went over. So a lot of things looking at the over. If you shop around, you can find this at 158. You can find it on BetMGM at 158, some books at 159. So I would act on this now while you can.
All right. Speaking of acting now, people were asking about a live first round leader. I mean, I don't really have an answer to that one. I mean, I'm looking at the board. I'm sure Gary Woodland's odds are too short to even consider. Same with Ludwig. I've already got Adam Scott at 90-1. He's tied for 3rd right now. Siwoo Kim would be interesting to me, only through 7. I'm not looking at the numbers because I wasn't really paying attention to the first round live leader market. But going down the board to guys who maybe have just teed off and are looking decent, I don't really see anybody. So, Mike, you don't have a guy that you think is going to jump the board here on first round leader, do you?
No, I mean, I would say it would be someone that hasn't started yet for me.
Yeah.
Scotty, you could find at 14 now at that point, I think is an interesting number. Neiman at 50 and Rom at 30 would be the directions I would be leaning.
Yeah, that's interesting. I will note there's one first round leader of the 5. All 5 of mine were between 50 and 90-1. 3 of them are definitely out. Adam Scott is at least in the conversation at 2 under. And then the one that hasn't gone off yet is Ryan Fox. If you just want to bank on the fact that Ryan Fox continues to strike the ball well and the conditions won't be bad in the afternoon, which I don't anticipate them being, I'm sure his numbers are still super long. I think I grabbed him, I'm trying to remember, at 80-1 as a first round leader. So, or maybe 70-1. So that would be a look there. Volleyball buckets. He hit a basketball play. He had Mackenzie. He had Alex Caruso over 1.5 3-pointers. And he just I guess his friend told him to bet it or something like that. He actually put a decent amount of money on it. And I think Caruso had his first 2 shots were 3-pointers and he made both of them. And that's that. He would.
I'm not even surprised at this point.
INT props, 3-pointer props. It's all buckets. Let's see if we have a couple of questions before we get to the recap screen. Hey, Dave says, hey, Tom, would you put the house on a Tigers-Cubs parlay? I'm not sure where that's coming from. Did you address either of those teams?
No. But I don't know if I'd put the house on it. I expect both teams are big favorites. Tigers coming off the loss last night with their best pitcher on the mound. So I don't think it's a bad play. I've had, in my old days, I've had to move a couple of times for putting the house on things. So I wouldn't do that.
Would you put the house on a play that I brought to the table for you? No.
By the way, Jeff Stenberg continues to change his profile picture. Yesterday it was the sniper, and now today it's me. So now it's my picture. That's just beautiful. See, are we playing first 5? I haven't paid attention to baseball today either, so I can't tell you. And those of you that are looking for live plays in golf, again, CBS Sports Network today at 12 o'clock. Don't forget Mackenzie hosting the Early Edge expanded version at 1 o'clock as well. Mike, go ahead.
Just additional play that I could lean into. There are a few places that have first rounds, not just leader, but top 5, top 10s. Mm-hmm. Scotty Scheffler is plus 170 for the top 10. I kind of like that number, especially if you were considering plus 275 on winning the entire event. It's not impossible, but if Scotty's not in the top 10 today, based off what we've seen already on scoring, he is not winning this event. So,
all right. Fair enough. We've got, by the way, Chris Kish putting F1 picks in the chat. Check those out. Gipper's picks is in here. I'm sure he's putting picks out as well. All right. I think it's time to get to the recap screen and get everybody out of here. I've got another round 1 matchup. Had one yesterday as well that hasn't gone off yet involving Ryan Fox, but I got Cameron Young minus 130 over Tom Hoagie. We got Mackenzie Brooks with the Sky and the Dream over 158.5 at minus 120. Then Mike has Scotty Scheffler round 1 under 70.5 at minus 110. Tom Casale, Yankees, Royals over 9 at minus 105. We move to the SportsLine Picks. Tariq Skubal over 7.5 Ks at minus 132. That one courtesy of Amags. And the Florida Panthers money line minus 148. That one from Matt Severance. It was a great show. We got a lot going on. We got a lot, like, forgive me if I seem distracted. I'm watching Bryson right now from 137. I'm sure, Mike, you're watching him too. He looks very good, but he's even par and a decent approach shot. Very good approach shot. He's got maybe 10 feet, 12 feet for birdie, maybe 15. Either way, good stuff out here. Thank you, Mackenzie Brooks. Thank you, Tom Casale. Thank you, Mike McClure. And of course, thank you, Ben, on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s. See you next time on the Early Edge. We rest our case.